NBA Straya, how are you going? Hang on. Are you right? Well, you bloody well should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Wednesday, isn't it? Hump day. And because of the public holiday on Monday, it's a short week. So this is bloody great, isn't it? It's even barely a hump day. Actually, having just spent like a little bit of time with Isaac Humphries, it is kind of like a hump day as well. I was just hanging out with him at the launch of the NBL Pride Round, which is very fun. What a lovely dude. Anyway, it is Wednesday, January 29, all day. This is NBA Straya, and I am your host, James Clements. You can see my ugly mug on the panel, which is the official NBL Supercoach show, as well as the AFL Today show and NFL Straya. If you have not gotten around the latest NFL Straya, what are you doing? We've got a soupy setup. Hey, also, if you haven't listened to yesterday's show, do yourself a favor and go back and listen to it. The all-star vibes, the rants, it was a lot of yelling. Producer Gerald was beside himself. So yeah, go check it out. Anyway, I'm here in the fancy studio talking DeAaron Fox. He wants out. Who doesn't want out of Sacramento? You been to Sacramento? The draft is going to be over 2 days again. Rising stars were announced. It was a mess. I've got a couple of points about that. And Paul George is injured again in a surprise twist. And so is Anthony Davis. Oh no, I'm shocked. So we'll talk all that out in a second. I've also got 4 games to wrap up for you today. We've got That's on an iPhone, mate. No, mate, Spud of the night, Than Lonzo Ball. We've got some Years. We've got the Unpopular Opinion of the day. We've got OUTBACK TAKEHOUSE. We were soothing up a flame grilled take. There's Australian player watch. A couple of the Aussies got out there today, which is good. Actually, a couple of bits of injury news, which is very exciting on the Aussie front, at least in like 1 or 2 parts. Also, a great moment in NBA Straya stat history with a hammer. I love a good hammer, great moment. And we'll pick and preview, like, there's 11 games tomorrow, so we'll break down all that for you. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1195 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Miss Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better. Watch out for the Gazy attack in that breaker. I love how he just comes in with all the energy. You're listening and watching NBA Straya. Thanks, Gazy. What an awesome guest he was. Anyway, let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Straya with the daily. It's a whip around, isn't it, Jim? Yes, it is. I did mention at the top as well there the launch of the NBL's Pride Round was very cool with the sponsors champion and everything. Isaac Humphries, Marcus Lee chatting from the NBL on a panel just about basically the importance of acceptance and everything. It was very cool, very nice. Really wish I'd stolen one of the balls that they had there. Like, they were awesome. Looked unreal. Still, I've got this bloody old one that's just been sitting on this. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see the old Spalding. Wow, I should have just mentioned it to them. Probably would have given it to me. I'm an idiot. Anyway, the actual news from today. DeAaron Fox. He wants out. He wants out. He wants out. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. DeAaron Fox has a target destination in mind as well. He's a free agent in 2026, right? So this is a bit of pre-agency leverage. So he hasn't signed an extension. And DeAaron Fox is like, hey, I'm probably not going to sign an extension, so you probably should deal me now to where I want to go, or else you lose me for nothing, you dummies. And Sacramento are like, God damn it. Doesn't it feel like another teardown for Sacramento is just looming? What a world. What a world. Anyway, it has been mentioned by his agent, Rich Paul. He's a clutch client. He doesn't want to go to the Lakers, which is smart. And obviously, the destination that he has in mind is reportedly San Antonio. It's widely presumed to be the destination that would interest him, right? So he could pair up with Victor Wembanyama. And apparently, because he's a free agent in 2026, other interested teams are basically being actively discouraged from trading for him, right? Because he'll just go peace out and not sign an extension with them, and they'll have given up a king's ransom to go and get him and then lose him for nothing, which is just dumb. So you probably want to send him where he wants to go, or else the other team that's trading for him will be up shit creek. So does this move the needle? Yeah, nah. I mean, there's a couple of other teams, if they threw themselves into the fray and were like, hey, Foxy, mate, just saying, if you were here, we'd be bloody good. And he's like, if he's hell-bent on playing with Wemby, which is kind of strange, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I'll get to that in the NRs. But there are some other pretty insanely good teams out there that could definitely use a point guard. Coughs in Houston and Orlando. Anyway, it was an interesting way that they sort of phrased all this as well, that, you know, he's basically, because he hasn't signed the extension, like, it's just kind of blatantly obvious that there was something working, right? And then so Shams tweets out, they're expected to open up talks to potentially deal All-Star DeAaron Fox. There'll be plenty of suitors, but it's believed that Fox has a target destination in mind. See how couched that is? It's like, they're expected to open up to potentially deal. That is not just fucking... God, I hate this fucking bullshit abomination of language that Shams does, where it's this mealy-mouthed fucking tiptoeing the line. I'm not saying they're actually going to trade him, but he hasn't asked for a trade, but they're opening up talks to potentially... Yeah. But the Kings are looking into trading DeAaron Fox. All right. Fascinating. Paul George is injured again, underwent an MRI and ultrasound, revealed an injury to the extensor tendon in his left fifth finger. Little finger? It's a fucking weird way of saying little finger. Oh, it is his left fifth finger. 1, 2. Don't you have 4 fingers and a thumb? I don't know, man. I'm no maths magician. And Anthony Davis, again, is injured with an abdominal injury this time. He's playing absolutely awesome. Was doing all right in that 10 minutes against Philly after dominating the Hornets yesterday. That's actually a bit of a bummer. AD has been absolutely awesome this year, completely under the radar, like a 26-12 every night, defensive menace. And the Lakers are just starting to look good. And, of course, they get their ass kicked today. We'll get to that in a second. The Rising Stars, that was announced. And boy, howdy, was it a shit show in how they announced it. So they put out the horrible graphic and they fucked it. So they got the rookies and the sophomores. Reed Shepherd was the number 3 pick this year, which makes him a rookie. And they've got him in the G League because he's currently with the G League team. But then today he was with the big team. What are they doing? They misspelled Cason Wallace's fucking name. Who the fuck is Carson Wallace, I ask you? And amazingly enough, they've managed to not put in the Rising Stars game, the current favorite to win Rookie of the Year, Kalel Ware. Oh, what are you idiots doing? And also we had Johnny Furphy, Alex Dukas, and Jack McVeigh all snubbed. That's some bullshit and classic anti-Australian bias. Anyway, the rookies, Bub Carrington, Stephon Castle, Tristan Da Silva, Zach Edey, Dalton Connect, Jared McCain, injured, Yves Missy, Zachary Rissache, Alexander Sarr, Jalen Wells, who should actually probably be one of the Rookie of the Year favourites. The sophomores, a.k.a. the second-year players, Bilal Coulibaly, Grady Dick, a.k.a. BJ from the Righteous Gemstones, Keontae George, Scoot Henderson, Trace Jackson Davis, Jaime Jaquez, Derek Lively Jr., injured, Brandon Miller, injured, Amen Thompson, Cason Wallace, or Carson? Let's find out. And, of course, Victor Wembanyama, because he's only in his second fucking year. And then the G League dudes, he's got JD Davis and Mac McClung, who's in his, like, fucking 14th rookie sophomore game. He's had more rookie years than Ben Simmons. Bryce McGowan's Leonard Millers, Dink Pate, Reed Shepherd, third pick in last year's draft, and Pat Spencer. So, yeah, remember, that's like the player pool, and it'll all get selected and broken up into a bunch of fucking different teams, and none of it'll matter, and we won't remember what the fuck happened, like, as per usual. Either way, that's the young stars. Hooray. The draft, speaking of young stars, they announced today that it's going to be held over 2 nights. Remember last year when they just basically shoved the second night into like the ESPN office? They used like the multi-purpose room and had like a podium, and there was like a bunch of people sitting on fucking fold-out chairs going, did I get drafted? The night before it was at fucking Barclays. Anyway, these 2 nights, Barclays, June 25, June 26 for the second round. I like it over 2 days. It just sort of means that you kind of get a little bit more time to sort of figure out what's going on in the second round. To be honest, I still kind of believe that they should just have the draft lottery, so the top 14 picks on the first night, and then maybe lean into the second half of the first round and then the second round on the second night. But 14 picks might not be enough. So, yeah, maybe 30 on your first night is fine. Give us a little bit more time. Allow draft picks to be fucking traded where the players get to wear the actual caps. That's all I'm about. And then the other little bit of news, Andre Iguodala going to get his jersey retired in Golden State. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, it is. All right. Let's do some game wraps. Game wraps. We had the 4 games today. The Lakers. They lose Anthony Davis. They lose the game against a Sixers team that did not have Paul George or Joel Embiid, but they did have Tyrese fucking Maxey there and Gershon Yabu Sally, they combined for the only 25 points that the Sixers scored in the first quarter were both Maxey and Yabu scoring all of them. All 25 points in the first quarter was those two. Pretty cool. Anyway, the Sixers win this 118-104, and the Lakers had, like, as soon as they lose AD, they got fucking stomped on defense in the second quarter. Maxey carved them. They scored 48 points in the second quarter. The Sixers, without any of their good dudes except for Maxey. Seriously, they started Yabu, Justin Edwards, Eric fucking Moonface Gordon, Kelly Oubre, and Maxey. Like, it's just chaos. I'll tell you what, that's gross Lakers. Lakers out there with LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, and AD. With DFS, Reddish, Hayes, Shake Milton, Dalton Connect coming off the bench, and of course, Bronny James. But losing AD was really the kick in the dick. So LeBron ends up with 31-8-9, 10-16 from the floor, had 8 turnovers. Yeesh. And 24 for Dalton Connect, 5-8 from downtown, but nobody else did shit. And that's a bit of a problem when you're on the road on a back-to-back. It's also not to be that crazily expected. So, unexpected. You're on the road. It's a back-to-back. You lose by 14. Your best player goes out, with all due respect to LeBron James. He's 40. Come on. AD is their best player. And, not good enough. 22 turnovers to 9 really sunk it for the Lakers. The Sixers, they got 43 from Maxey. He was awesome. 14 and 5 of them for Yabusele. They got 20 from Oubre on 8 of 18 shooting, 0 of 5 from downtown, the classic Oubre game. 14 from Eric Gordon, who hit 3 threes. And Ricky Council, he's going to pop up again later. Amazing, 16 points. Good win for the Sixers there, 18 and 27. Just, they can't even tank properly. It's like, what are you doing, Philly? Anyway, Lakers 26 and 19. Chaos reigns. Houston beat Atlanta. Nailed this pick yesterday, but they did not cover, I think. It was a 5.5 point line. They win at 196. Atlanta without Jalen Johnson, basically kind of most of their dudes. Like, DeAndre Hannah is coming off the bench and carving it up. But, geez, Clint Capella's out. They're starting Okongwu. They're starting Gueye. They're starting Trae Young, Vic Krejci, and our man Dyson. Dyson goes for a 12, 10, and 6 with 4 steals, 21 and 9, but 8 turnovers for Trae Young. And it was just a bit of a shit show. The Hawks just couldn't score enough. Hunter had 16, but they don't have Bogdan. They don't have Jalen. It's a shell of a team at the moment, the Hawks. And the Rockets on a back-to-back came in there, gave him the old 1-2 Costa Zoo. 25 for Jalen Green. Şengün at 18-2 as well. Amen Thompson, after his heroics yesterday, had 11-5 with 3 more steals. And Rock'em, Sock'em, Block'em, Jock'em, Landau got out there. So that's very nice. Then, basically, they didn't hit any threes. Didn't matter. 7-30. 16 turnovers to 21. This game sucked. I was watching a big chunk of it before we had the NBL lunch, and it's just like, Jesus. Houston are trying to give this game away, and Atlanta are just so inept they can't take it from them. And that's kind of the story of their season. 22-25, the Hawks. 32-14 for Houston. Then, the big upset. 125-112, the Portland Trailblazers absolutely put one to sweep the season series against the Milwaukee Bucks. What the hell, Bucks? This was an amazing game because Danny Avdija is apparently the best player on the planet. He was incredible. He was out playing Giannis down the stretch. Giannis ends up with 39, 12, and 5. But they just couldn't quite get over the hump. It's the Dame Lillard home. He's coming home. Homecoming. They still love him up there in Portland. He ends up with 20 points, 6 assists, but he shot 7 of 17. Yeah, a bit of a rough one. But again, this is a team that, 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting for Gary Terrence Trent D'Arby Jr. Yeah, Brook Lopez, Splash Mountain go 4 of 12 for 11 points. They're just not quite efficient enough. And then the Blazers just got it fucking flying in from everywhere, right? So they shot the piss out of it, over 51%. They turned it over more times, but they smashed them on the rebounding, where the Blazers had 52 boards to 36. They had 17 offensive rebounds. It was absolutely gnarly. Denny ends up with a 30.9 rebound night. 21-14 for DeAndre Ayton, and 25-7 for Anthony Penny-Simons. He had a bit of a slow start, but then finally got cooking. And Shaedon Sharp was knocking in threes off the bench. He had 17 too. Very nice. Good job, Blazers. That's a hell of a win. They're 17-29. Bucks, 26-18. Just, I kind of called it yesterday when I'm like, yep, Blazers. I didn't think they'd win by 13, but here we are. And then finally, the shell of Utah. So Utah didn't have Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, Larry Markin, and Walker Kessler, Johnny Uzang, or Cody Williams. That's 6 rotation players. And Golden State had no Steph Curry. So if you watch this, more power to you. I watched little bits of it. I'm like, this is gross. I want no bar of it. And then Utah, as predicted yesterday, kept it kind of close. 114-103. I think we mentioned that on the walking picks today. It was like a 13.5-point line in the end, so we went with Utah. So Golden State get a much-needed win, but Utah had it back to like 2 points and just were absolutely up in their shit because they got 30 from Colin the Sex Man Sexton, basically putting his hand up going, please, people, trade for me. Bryce Sensabaugh with like a bit of a rough one, but you got Isaiah Collier, 12, Keontae George, 12, all of which basically came at the free throw line. He was 8 of 11 there, and 13 for Drew Eubanks. But yeah, whatever. The Jazz are really, really, really bad. And the Warriors had Trace Jackson Davis, Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Drummond, Rondo, Buddy Hield, and Moses Moody without Steph playing. And it was a rough one. Podziemski has 20 off the bench, 23 for Dennis Schroeder. See, this is the thing about Schroeder. When he's like the single dude out there who's doing the thing, it's probably best for Dennis Schroeder. He feels best about it for Dennis Schroeder too. If you got Dennis Schroeder and good other players, Dennis Schroeder's not that good, you know what I'm saying? 19 for Wigo, whatever. They shot under 40% and still managed to win because they were playing the Jazz. It's a soft J. Warriors are 23-23. Jazz dropped to 10-35. Let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Tyrese Maxey had 43 against the Lakers as a lone wolf. It was absolutely sick. He played 36 minutes. He had 43 points, went 15 of 26. 15 of 26. He shot the piss out of it. 9 and 9 at the line. It was absolutely awesome. Every time he turned around, he's driving to the hoop, fucking just, 4 of 11 from downtown as well. Honorable mention goes to Danny Avdija, who was absolutely massive. As the Blazers, like every time they're sort of like getting a little bit creaky, he's just driving to the hoop. Boom. Ends up with a 30.9 on 10 of 18 shooting, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 of 7 from 3. Danny Avdija. God damn. So, I was not familiar with the game. No, I love Danny Avdija, you know that. Spud of the night. Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night. I mean, just that entire Utah Golden State game was just, it was a spud off, wasn't it? I mean, Utah shot 50%, over 51%, and like the bloody Warriors shot 39% and still won. Ugh. 5 of 17 for Wiggins, but of course, 1 of 6 shooting for Mr. Garrison, Matthews, DFS, and Max Christie. But my favorite today, finally, stepping up, going 0 of 5 from the floor. The number 55 pick in the 2024 NBA draft, Bronny James, 0 of 5, son. 15 minutes, he had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. Oh, God. He just stinks. He's so bad. Anyway, so yeah, bit of a big spud. And no one shot the magical number. What the hell, man? Anyway, who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Khalil Ware's got to be like, what more can I do? I'm literally the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and you don't have me in the fucking rookie sophomore game. Is this the NBA punishing Miami for fucking around with like Jimmy Butler? Or just like having that situation turn into a shit show? It kind of feels like it is, right? There's my Outback Takehouse for today, basically, as well. That's what they're doing to Miami. Yeah, but he's the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, and he can't make the fucking Rising Stars game. That is just, yeah. Anyway, and old mate, no mates, Cason Wallace. He's like, who the fuck is Carson? Is that my brother? Mom, do I have a brother named Carson? She's like, no, honey, just Cason, you're fine. I forgot the R. That's fucked. How do you fucking misspell a player's name on an official communique from the NBA? That blows my fucking mind. Anyway, pantsing of the night. I mean, the Rising Stars, they're just a fucking self-pantsing. But Adam Boner, his name was Boner, blocked both Bronny and LeBron to the tune of 3 blocks today in that Sixers-Lakers game. It's pretty fucking funny when you're blocking both father and son in the same NBA basketball. Like, that's like, oh, wow, LeBron and Bronny, first father-son duo. It's like, well, Adam Boner just fucking blocked both of them. Isn't that right, Ricky Ponting? Yeah, now he's out. He's out now, isn't he? But Adam Boner, awesome, because he pops up again in better than Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody. Coming for everybody. In pantsing of the night as well, Yabu dunked on AD pretty gnarly early. Larry Nance Jr. got turned inside out as well by, who was it, Trey? Krejci? I can't remember. Anyway, better than Bronny James for today. Easy one. Ricky Council the fourth. He was awesome. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Playing against Bronny. Very clearly better than Bronny James, who went 0 of fucking 5. 6 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 6 from 3. Ricky Council, sneakily okay for the Sixers this season as well. All those Sixers fans out there going, Jim, I know that Ricky Council is good. Yeah, I know too. He's been very, very handy at times. And it's kind of like, that's cool. Keep him around. Adam Boner as well. His name was Boner. 3 blocks, as mentioned, against Bronny and LeBron. 4 points, 6 rebounds as well. Better than Bronny James. And Bronny, 0 of 5. Pretty funny. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs after a quick break right now.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do some yeah-nahs. I've got a good one from Zachy B. I'll maybe use that as an unpopular opinion as well. But anyway, retiring Andre Iguodala's jersey. Yeah, nah. I feel like if you win a finals MVP, you can do a jersey retirement, right? I think the weirdest one is when you have like video tributes for dudes who are like there for a little bit. And I kind of like Miami's approach to that sort of shit where it's like, if you didn't make a fucking all-star team,
or an All NBA team while you were playing for us, you don't get a video tribute. That's fucking smart. Andre Iguodala was completely central to the Warriors winning the 15 title, right? Wins the Finals MVP. I kind of still think that was bullshit. I was yelling about it at the time. I yelled about it for years. Oh, but he stopped LeBron. LeBron averaged like a fucking 38, 8, and 8. Right? It's like, that's all fucking fun. He stopped him. He stopped him dead. Yeah, all right. Steph should have won that. But anyway, but you've won a Finals MVP. Absolutely massive as a part of that Warriors team, hitting big shots throughout the years. Yeah, you can retire his jersey. I think that's fine. Do you like the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Spindle's Ingram gym? Yeah, nah. I'm unenthused, I think, more than anything. I think Spindles Ingram's a good player. I think he needs to be on a team like this current iteration of the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if he needs to be on the Raptors. You've already got RJ Barrett, Scoob, Scotty Barnes, IQ, Grady Dick. I don't know if you need to add Spindles to that. So I'd rather see him, I think, on Detroit. So, yeah, should Detroit trade for Brandon Spindles Ingram gym? Yes. Fuck yes. Do it now. I love this Pistons team, by the way. They miss Ivy. God damn. But still good. And then finally, DeAaron Fox. Are you okay with this? Yeah, nah. Nah, I don't really like pre-agency and using your impending free agency and the lack of an extension and holding that over a new team as leverage. But as I sort of hit on yesterday in that about the power, like basically the players having almost too much power, this is like the only leverage he's got. Like you look at Jimmy Butler right now, he's like, I will still get paid $50 million next year because I've got a guaranteed contract. He's using what leverage he's got, and he's just burned all these fucking bridges, and now no one wants to trade for him. So, kind of like rocking a hard place, right? But is San Antonio the right landing spot for DeAaron Fox? Yeah, nah. Yeah, he's got a fucking 7'40" giant pterodactyl playing basketball Frenchman. Like, that could be the best player in basketball by next year. So, yeah, I think you want to, as a point guard especially, just going, hey, should I just throw that ball to him? Like, fuck yeah. Like, you've got Stephon Castle. You feel like he can play next to DeAaron Fox. He's got fucking size. I love that two-headed backcourt as well. But, I mean, if you feel like you got to trade something for Fox, Castle might be in that deal. So, what are you kind of left with? It gets a bit tricky after that. But, I mean, Harrison Barnes being back in Sacramento as, like, fucking salary fodder is the funniest shit in the world. He's like, it's like he's in purgatory. He can just never leave Sacramento. Harrison Barnes, that's how he rolls. But anyway, like long term, that is the right move. Hook your wagon to the best player in basketball. I think that's a smart maneuver, right? But as a 1-year rental, you know where he'd be fucking great? Orlando. Geez, Jim, are you banging the Orlando needs a point guard drum again? Yes. Fox with Wagner, hello, Barabankara, and Suggs, and then like whatever else they've got left after they trade for Fox. I'm fucking let's go. The problem is to get Fox, you got to give something up. It's probably a Wagner or something. I don't want to do that. So, and Houston, they've got so many dudes. Do you collapse a bunch of those dudes, collate those contracts into a Fox deal? Houston keeps saying they don't want to trade anybody. They want to see how far they get with this group. It still feels like they've got too many dudes. I've yelled about this from the start of the season, but they're playing awesome. Their defense is fantastic. They got enough defenders that you think they could probably make up for any of Fox's sort of deficiencies on that end. But at the same time, put Fox behind the wheel of that Houston car and fucking sign me up. Like if Jalen Green has to go in that trade, fucking see ya. Right? You can replace Jalen Green if you've got DeAaron Fox. Like, I feel fucking great about that. So, yeah. But San Antonio, like, it's the way they sort of build out anything else outside of having Wemby, having Keldon Johnson, fucking Devin Vassell, so hard. Like, it's just the rest of the supporting cast is very, very underwhelming, and it's like surprisingly underwhelming, I think, at the moment. But Castle's like pretty decent. They've got Chris Paul at the moment. If you just get Fox, just fucking go for it. Just start building. You got fucking draft picks coming out the wazoo for the DeJounte Murray trade from Atlanta. You've got one fucking still there down the pipe from fucking Minnesota. Love it. Go get Fox. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Zachy B sent in a good one. Got another one for you. Who's winning the Pacific Division this year? I've got my money on Phoenix and genuinely have no idea, or no clue if that could still happen. Yeah, nah, this is a great fucking point. I think I mentioned this in the other day about the winners and losers, right? That, like, the Lakers were on top of the division. And you're like, hang on a second, but they're shit. And they are still one game up on the Clippers at the moment. They're 26-19. You've got the Clippers 26-20, so they're a half game up on the Clippers. Then you got the Suns 24-21, so only 2 games back of the Lakers at the moment. The Kangs at 24-22, and the Golden State Warriors 23-23. That is a crazy division. Everybody's above 500. It is absolutely nuts how competitive it is. And then you sort of look at all the other divisions, like no one else has like the last team in their division, like basically even sniffing 500. The closest is the Central, and that's the Bulls, who are 42.6, and they're shit. So, yeah, that's probably the craziest, most equal division in basketball at the moment. And it's really, I still reckon out of all of that, the Clippers probably win it. I also have money on the Suns over. I don't think they're going to hit it now. They're 24-21. I feel like it was in the late 40s, 48.5 or something, and I don't think they're going to get there, because they have to win 24 more games to get there. That's going to be fucking hard when they're already 24-21. Look, Phoenix, if they stay healthy, if they maybe make the Brad Beal trade and they get Butler and maybe something else at some point in that, they can maybe still win this division. But it's so fucking tight. There's 3.5 games from top to bottom. It's easily the evenest division in basketball. Zachy B, great shout. Appreciate it. And, of course, Outback Takehouse, I kind of hit on that earlier. I think this is Miami not naming Khalil Ware. The NBA not naming Khalil Ware to the Rising Stars as punishment for Miami just being a dick about the entire Jimmy Butler thing. Right? They're just like, the way you've handled this, Miami, it's just a lot of noise and it's really pissing me off. Look at this. Khalil Ware's not going to make the fucking Rising Stars. What a kick in the dick that is. Anyway. All right. Let's go take a quick break and be back with the Australian Player Watch right after we're going to say Delhi.
This is Matthew Delvedova, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, big day for the Aussies today in the NBA. We had a few in action and a couple actually against each other, which is pretty fun. That's right, we had Atlanta playing Houston. That means we've got Dyson Daniels versus Jock Landale, and Jock got out there for a bit of a run with Steven Adams nursing a sore foot. But first, Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief. He played 37 minutes in that 100-96 loss. Didn't shoot it great. 12 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 1 of 5 from downtown. He has those sort of swings and roundabouts, says Dyson, on his 3-point shot. He did go 3 of 3 at the line, which is also nice. 3 for 3. But 12 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and of course, 4 more steals for your NBA steals leader. You love to see that from Dyson, the great barrier thief, a.k.a. the Bendigo Bandit, a.k.a. Bendigo Jordan. A block and a turnover and 3 fouls. Classic anti-Australian bias, if you ask me, from the refs towards Dyson. And in that same game, as mentioned, Jock's back. You love to see that. Also, both of them had very nice walk-in photos. Dyson looked very sharp today, and Jock had a nice one the other day too. So Houston get the win. Jock played 16 minutes, which is very nice. So with Steven Adams nursing a sore left ankle, Jock played the 16 minutes, had 4 points, went 2 of 3 from the floor, had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. How good is that? The Rooster goes bang! Jock Landale, you star. Speaking of other injury-related minutes for the Aussies, how good was it to see Patty Mills out there for the Yaz? That's right, it's a soft J for the Utah Jazz today. He actually got out there because Well, he played 14 minutes today, our Paddy, because the Jazz were missing 6 rotation players. But he played 14 minutes. He went 0 of 2 from the floor, both of which were from downtown. He had 2 rebounds. Bit of a tough one. He was also minus 15 in 14 minutes, but still, we love him. Good on you, Paddy. Outside of that, do-up, bop, do-up, the Great Barrier Reef, do-up Reef, also played at the very end of that amazing Blazers win over the Bucks. Do-up got out there for 1 minute at the very end of garbage time, along with fellow Victory Cigars, Jabari Walker, Chris Murray, Bryce McGowns, and Rayan Rupert. But he got out there and didn't bother the scorers. He had 1 point. 1 minute played, and that was it. Nothing else. Didn't score a point, didn't take a shot. But that was a big win, 125-112 over the Bucks. But in interesting injury news for the Aussies, how good is this? Dante Exum, the Than terror. He's finally been upgraded from out to questionable, doubtful. Doubtful, questionable, and could play against the Pelicans tomorrow. I don't know if he will, but that is very, very, very fun. And the other one, though, is for tomorrow. Josh Green has already been ruled out with right foot soreness. But still, Dante Exum on the road to recovery. You love to see that with his wrist. Hopefully, Dante is back soon. And that is your Aussie Player Watch for Wednesday, Hump Day, January 29. All right, now it's time for a quick, great moment in NBA Straya stat history. Now, the question is, Jim, do you have that drop on here? No, I do not, I believe. I will check. Yes, we do. Let's play it.
Great moments in NBA Straya stat history.
This is a good one because it is the pretty fun hammer. That's right. It's a recipe for the hammer. What's the hammer, Jim? Well, 28 years ago today, the recipe for the hammer was delivered. You can recreate Shane the Hammer Heel's third best NBA game ever. What you'll need is, you need 1 Shane the Hammer Heel, Aussie icon, 1 Minnesota Timberwolves team, 1 Sacramento Kings team, 1 Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 1 January 28 US Day, 1997, and 1 coach who doesn't realize that he's got the Australian Pistol Pete Maravich on his bench, RIP Flip. Preparation, 15 minutes of court time, a lifetime of small bloke angst and nuggety grit. Ingredients, 5 points, 2 of 5 field goals, 1 of 4 3-point shots, 4 assists, make sure those are career high, and 1 steal. Directions. Step 1, make sure your Shane the Hammer Heel is so nuggety he could be called the welcome stranger. Step 2, point your Shane the Hammer Heel at the opposing team. Step 3, let your Shane the Hammer Heel loose and get out of the way, remembering that he's likely to try to give someone the old left-right good night like he did with Charles Barkley and the Dream Team. Step 4, mix stats together and shake well for maximum the hammer impact. Step 5, admire a performance that's only bettered by the bloody intro to Daryl Braithwaite's The Horses. Serves an entire nation of proud Aussies. On your hammer. How good is that? 28 years ago, his third best ever NBA game. Shane the Hammer Heel. We'll always remember that one. All right, how about a quick Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in? We did have Patty actually playing a game today, which is always good, but we've got Josh Giddey showing off his fit on Instagram. Those are some big jeans. Some big, big jeans. It blows my mind that baggy jeans are back. And as a chunky bloke who grew up in the 90s, I'm all the way here for it. I'm just like, I am a skater, boy. I said, see you later, boy. Fuck your fucking skinny jeans, boy. Looking good, kids. Looking good. As I mentioned, Dyson also had a great sort of walkthrough photo from the Hawks, so go check that one out. Right, let's do some game previews for tomorrow. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, yeah, bloody good. Lots of fun at the NBL Pride Round launch. That was a hell of a lovely lunch, I'll tell you that much. And also, I don't know, the games today were pretty entertaining. So, yeah, let's get into the 11-game slate for Thursday. Brooklyn playing Charlotte, where the Hornets are 2.5-point favorites. That's a tough one to pick. You got tanking Brooklyn, tanking Charlotte, even though they're inadvertent. LaMelo's out injured. You'd probably have to go Brooklyn, don't you? Plus 2.5 in Charlotte. If LaMelo plays, you go Charlotte, but I think he's nursing like an a foot injury, so we're going to go the Nets. Detroit, they go to Indy. 5.5-point underdogs are the Detroit basketball Pistons. Indy have been playing really well, but I believe we've got, is it Nemhard? I'm back on the injury list, I think, for the Pacers, which is, yeah, Andrew Nemhard has been added to the injury list with a sprained thoracic spine. Jesus. He's questionable. If he plays, I still feel okay about Indy, but I feel like every time they sort of lose a piece, it just takes them a little bit too long to sort of like re-up. I'll probably go Detroit plus 5.5. Indy win a close one. I think Detroit can hang. Toronto, they go to Washington, and they are 6.5-point favorites on the road. I love that the Raptors are massive road favorites, because the Raptors are currently 14-32. Of course, they are playing a 6-39 Wizards team, so we're going to go the Raptors minus 6.5 because they actually have real-life NBA players on their team. Chicago, they go to Boston. I love a great Bulls-Celtics game. One of the great uniform matchups. The Bulls are 14.5-point underdogs in Boston. Do you believe that this Boston team can actually beat a team by 15 points at the moment? Do you? Do ya? Do you think they can? They just lost to Houston. They got by the Mavs the other day in Dallas by 15. I reckon the Celtics can do it. 15 is a bit, but they did just absolutely smash and berate the Mavs by 15. They did get their ass kicked by the Lakers on the road. They did just lose at home to the Rockets, though. So I think they'll win. They've also beaten the Nuggets at home by a lot, and only a 1-point win against the Pelicans. A massive win against the Magic. Big, massive 40-point win, remember, over the Warriors. Yeah, look, we'll go Boston to have a big bounce-back win. The Bulls just leave me feeling cold and weird. And yeah, Cleveland, they go to Miami. Miami, as mentioned, Miami's in turmoil. Then they beat Orlando in 2 overtimes the other day. Cleveland are a completely different beast. They are 7.5-point favorites in Miami. I don't think Miami is going to respond well now to an actually decent team that has their shit together like Cleveland, despite a couple of rough ones recently for the Cavs. I think Cleveland can get this one done. Minus 7.5. Denver, they go to the Knicks. The Knicks absolutely walloped the Grizzlies the other day. Denver are 3.5-point underdogs in MSG. Denver have had a weird, they were like one of the weekend losers, right? Where they sort of turned around and had just a couple of Barry Crocker shockers. And here they are going into the New York Knickerbockers. So they lose by the 8 to the Bulls on the road. They lose to the Wolves, got smashed. The Knicks are better than both those teams. I'm going to have to go the Knicks minus 3.5. I don't like it. I never like picking against Denver. But the Knicks defense, I think, if they can stymie Jamal Murray, the Joker's probably going to have a massive game, have a triple-double anyway, but the Knicks can probably still win that at home. Sacramento, they go to Philly with DeAaron Fox's trade request hanging over their heads. Can you think, or do you believe that Philly on a back-to-back can cover 7.5? Yeah, I do. That's so tough. I think Philly can play that one close. Sacramento, Doug Christie in charge. He might actually get them all pointing in the right direction, but when your point guard has just asked for a trade, I think that's just a hard one. So Sacramento might pull one out. I think Philly might just keep it close. Maxey will go hammer and tongs on that Fox Malik Monk backcourt as well. Let's go the Sixers. Dallas at New Orleans with the Mavs maybe getting Dante Exum back. 2.5-point underdogs are the Pelicans at home. The Mavs look minus 2.5. Can they do it? They did it the other day. We're going to go the Mavs minus 2.5 in New Orleans. Clippers, San Antonio. This is a fun one. Spurs plus 3.5. I'm going to go and back Wemby I think this team will be up and about at home against the Clippers team who have been hot and cold. Kawhi comes home. He's coming home. Back to San Antonio. Let's go the Spurs plus 3.5 there. Minnesota Phoenix, a really fun game, a really fun matchup. The Suns have been a little bit like, I don't know, unpredictable is probably the best way to call it. Like their win, though, against the Clippers was very impressive the other day, even though they tried to give up the ghost late. KD, Beal, Booker, 1.5-point underdogs against the Wolves. I think the Suns can get that one done. Let's go Suns. And then OKC at Golden State. The Golden State team we saw today are going to get absolutely killed by the Thunder. They're 10.5-point favorites. We will go OKC. And there you go. That is a big Wednesday hump day show for you. Hope that was good. Not like the Fox stuff is pretty interesting. The Rising Star stuff was fun. A weird day in the NBA. We'll be back tomorrow for a big Thursday show. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter. Yeah, that checks out. Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube. You can see all the fun stuff we're banging up there. Check out NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. A massive Super Bowl sort of like has been set. We talk about that in yesterday's show. It's very, very good. Go check it out. Check us a rating review for those shows as well as AFL Today, Cricket Today, Hold All Tickets, Football Today. Rate, review, star, subscribe, all that sort of stuff across Apple Podcasts, your Spotify's, YouTube Music, whatever app you're using, Android phone. However you listen to your tunes and your podcasts or whatever, make sure you subscribe across all of them. I'd appreciate it. Help your mate Jim out. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Go check out House Hats, their new band as well. Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ram Shakalami, Iowa, Sex Shadow, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show, so smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J on Earth, Face, Apple Music, Spotify. However you listen to your tunes, make sure they're Australian. NBA Straya supports Australian bands. All right, that's it for today. I got to run, so we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And, little Hosanna!